Week number 15, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as things start to get a little bit more spicy as the playoff developments and these scenarios grow week by week. And these are where the games really start to get important. As week 14, I went 9-4. Can't complain too much there. Pretty solid week, all things considered. 145 and 63 on the season. And let's keep the momentum going, man. Week 15 has a lot of interesting matchups and a pretty hard week, in my honest opinion. And I'm really going to sit down here and take my time with this and give you every one of my thoughts. So let's not waste any more time. These are my week 15 picks of the 2024 NFL season, and I will have playoff clinching scenarios if I run into one on the screen for the matchup. So, yeah, let's get on to it. Kicking things off, we got Thursday night football, as always, between the Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers, as LA is coming off of a surprising win over Buffalo, 44-42. Matthew Stafford played a really solid game, as did the ground game for LA. And the 49ers, they absolutely dominated the Chicago Bears, as this game is must win for both teams here in that very crowded NFC West for all the wrong reasons. So the big deal for San Francisco, once again, injuries, and they are probably going to be down to their fourth string running back in this game in Patrick Taylor Jr., but I really don't think it matters either way because both these rush defenses are bottom tier this year. So I think it's going to come down to who I think has the more potent offense at this juncture of the season. And when healthy, San Francisco definitely does have a top five offense in the league, in my personal opinion. But the Rams offense is really clicking, and they have really strung together a couple of really solid weeks, and especially with that win they had against Buffalo where they beat them at their own game, and seeing that the 49ers are banged up here, I'm going to lean towards LA to win this game. I like the Rams' momentum a little bit more. San Francisco has blown a lot of games this year within the division more than usual, and I think that's my deciding factor for this game here personally. So I am going to roll with the Rams to win this one in Santa Clara. Now we got the Sunday slate of games, and first at bat, we got the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cleveland Browns going at it in Cleveland, as the Chiefs, take a wild guess, won in very lucky fashion over the Chargers, where they doinked it at the last second, but it fell through this time, unlike the Chicago Bears in 2019. But yeah, Kansas City is 12-1, and they win the AFC West once again, which we knew anyway. But yeah, Kansas City is 12-1 on the season. And then you got the Cleveland Browns, who are 3-10. They are eliminated from playoff contention as they lost in Pittsburgh once again to the Steelers. And this game is pretty meaningless right here, so I'm not going to waste too much time with it. But to keep things short, I am going to take the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game in a close one, simply because that's just how the Chiefs have been winning games all season. Close games, closer than it should have been, relying on the defense, not getting as much on offense here. And even though Cleveland's defense has given up a lot of big plays, they're still tough defensively. But in this game here, I really don't think it's going to matter a whole lot. I am going to take Kansas City to win this one over the Browns. Then we got my first of four. Yeah, that's right. 4 toilet bowls this week for me personally. And first, we got the Cincinnati Bengals and the Tennessee Titans down in Nashville, as the Bengals are coming off of a Monday night win over the Dallas Cowboys by a final of 27-20 that featured a ridiculous punt sequence for the Cowboys, a block punt sequence, I should say, that allowed Joe Burrow to find Jamar Chase for the game winner. And Cincinnati's 5-8, and the fans have a false sense that they can get into the playoffs. Let's be honest, they are missing it again. And the Tennessee Titans are 3-10. They lost to the Jaguars. Tennessee, you are trash. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Tennessee sucks. Their defense has been a massive letdown this year. Their offense, even bigger letdown. And them going up against that Bengals team that can absolutely light up a scoreboard. And they have had career best years from Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase despite their 5-8 record. Yeah, I'm going to lean towards Cincinnati to win this one. Also, the Bengals have played the Titans pretty well in recent years, even though Tennessee did win the last matchup between the two. But yeah, I'm rolling with the Bengals to win this one and have a little bit more momentum. But like I said, I don't think Cincinnati's going to make it. But for this game, give me the Bengals to win it here. Then we got the Washington Commanders and the New Orleans Saints going at it in New Orleans. And I really don't think I need to say anything more than I'm going to take Washington to win this one. I was close to making this my lock of the week, but I'm going to get to my lock in just a little bit. As you know, Washington, they're coming off their bye week, and the Saints are coming off of a win where they squeaked it out against the New York Giants. And now the Saints, their season is in turmoil even more as Derek Carr fractured his wrist, and he's going to miss probably the rest of the season for the Saints. But I really don't think it matters. I mean, the Saints are just such an inconsistent team this year, and Washington is fighting for a playoff spot. I don't think there's a question who I'm going to take here. I'm going to take Washington to win this one pretty handily over the Saints. I just don't think New Orleans' defense is going to be able to stop Washington's offense. So give me Washington here. Then we got the Baltimore Ravens and the New York Giants going at it in Jersey as the Ravens are coming off their bye week. They're 8-5. Giants are coming off losing to the Saints, as I just said. Now, this one right here is my lock of the week. Don't worry, Raven fans. You'll beat the Giants, okay? Ravens are, like I said, well-rested, coming off their bye. They are determined to clinch a playoff spot, or at the very least ensure that we don't clinch the playoffs this week. While the Giants, they have been actively tanking for a couple weeks now. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the Ravens all day here. They're my easy lock of the week here. Toilet Bowl number 2 between the Dallas Cowboys and the Carolina Panthers. This one is down in Charlotte as the Cowboys, as I mentioned just a couple minutes ago, dropped one at home once again. They lost to the Bengals 27-20. That ridiculous block punt sequence that allowed Cincinnati to get the game winner. And the Cowboys are 5-8, and their season is basically done. And then you got the Carolina Panthers. They are coming off of a loss to the Eagles, but they hung in there pretty well with Philadelphia for the most part. You know, there were moments where the Panthers, they gave the Eagles something to sweat about. So what I say for this game right here is that the Cowboys do have some semblance of an offense in this game, at least, as Cooper Rush can actually mold kind of well with the weapons that he has, seen that he's going to be the quarterback for the rest of the season, I imagine, due to Dak Prescott's hamstring problem. But the Cowboys' defense is still a big concern. And the Cowboys, like, if they can't stop the run and they can't cover well, then it's just going to be a long day. As for Carolina, the Panthers' offense is pretty depleted, and I think Bryce Young might have a little bit of newfound hope, but Carolina just kind of lacks the firepower on offense. Although I will say, defensively, The Panthers have been playing a little bit better. And I think, that's why it's just hard for me to come up with a final conclusion here. You know, like Dallas has their problems with stopping other offenses, while Carolina has problems with putting offense on the board, despite the Panthers playing kind of gritty over the past couple weeks. I mean, they hung in there with Kansas City, and then they hung in there with Philly. So this game right here is another one of those scenarios of where I don't know who to go with, despite it being a home team, despite it being a toilet bowl. But like I usually say, whenever I'm unsure of who to pick, I go home team, and I am going to actually make the Carolina Panthers my upset this week. That's right. The Panthers have newfound confidence. They've been playing pretty tough, and they've been coming up short. I think this is the week where they get it done. The Carolina Panthers are my upset this week. And with this loss right here, this basically ends Dallas's season. The Panthers, they're playing for pride at this point. So I'm going to go Carolina to upset the Cowboys on Sunday. Toilet Bowl number 3. The New York Jets at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh, man, these are arguably the two worst teams in the NFL going at it, the Jets and the Jags. I really don't give a crap about this game at all. And again, it's just one of those things where I have to pick somebody to win. So just for the sake of it, I am going to take the New York Jets to win this game. I'm going to give the Jets one last chance because the Jags, I have lost all my confidence with them, even though they're coming off of a win. And the Jets, they have shown this season, despite their awful season, despite their historically disappointing season, that they are capable of hanging in there in a couple of games. And the Jags, they're going to be starting Mac Jones in this game, I imagine, due to Trevor Lawrence's concussion that he took from Aziz Al-Shaair from the Houston Texans a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, just by default, I'm going to take the Jets to win this game. Who gives a crap about this game here? Both these teams are going to be picking in the top 5. Then we got the Miami Dolphins and the Houston Texans going at it in Houston. And right off the bat, I can tell you right here that the Texans have a big advantage in this game due to the fact that they're coming off their bye week. And like I usually say and pick them, I tend to lean towards the team that has extra rest going into the game. As for the Miami Dolphins, they had a nice win against the Jets, but Miami did struggle against the Jets. And even though the Dolphins have been playing better over the past month or so, if they can struggle like that against an awful New York Jets team, and now they're going up against the Texans who are playing for the playoffs, I think that's a difference maker in this game right here. And Steeler fans, I'm telling you right now, before our matchup, you should be absolutely pulling for the Houston Texans in this game because our clinching scenario, we do have a clinching scenario this week, and that's if we win or if Indianapolis and Miami both lose. So, Steeler fans, you should definitely be pulling for Houston to win this game. And I think the Texans do get the win. Miami, like I said, their defense, I think, is tough, but kind of given the benefit of the doubt a little bit, seeing that they went up against Aaron Rodgers and the Jets talent on offense there. But Aaron Rodgers is easily having the worst season of his career. And the Texans, they do have that offense that can absolutely cause problems for opposing defenses. And with the way that Miami's defense is underrated, I just don't know if they're ready fully to, step up to the reins against this Texans team that has a good offense. So I am going to go with the Texans to win this game simply due to the fact that they're coming off their bye, and I think they just outmatch Miami a little bit more. So give me Houston here. Later slate of games on Sunday afternoon. And first up, we got the Indianapolis Colts and the Denver Broncos, the battle of the horses going at it in Denver. And as I just alluded to a minute ago, if you're a Steeler fan, you should be pulling for the Broncos in this game here. So, yeah, Steeler fans, while our game is happening, you should also be hoping that Houston and Denver both win. Because if we lose, then we can get in the playoffs if Indy and Miami both lose as well. So Steeler fans, you got to root for Houston and Denver this week as well. But anyway, the Colts are 6-7 on the season, while the Broncos are 8-5, and they are also battling for a playoff spot, as well as Bo Nix. He continues to, quite frankly, play like the Rookie of the Year candidate that he's been playing like over the past couple weeks or so. And it's for good reason. I think that he is definitely being left out on it. I think that people are massively sleeping on him, and they're massively sleeping on the Broncos in general. That Denver team, I think, is definitely the most improved team in the NFL this season. They got a really tough defense. Their offense has played much better. As I just said, Bo Nix got off to a rough start, but he has quickly turned things around, and he's playing like Rookie of the Year. Not that Jaden Daniels is out of it totally, but Bo Nix is right there, man. Indianapolis has just been too inconsistent this season, and especially with the play of Anthony Richardson, where he's just looked off this season as well. Granted, he was injured for the majority of last season, but it's a whole new season now. You can't keep using that excuse as the weeks go by, and Indy's defense is very sus as well. Those are just big advantages for the Broncos in this game, and I think that's why I'm going to roll with the Denver Broncos in this matchup here. Mainly because I just think they have better momentum. I think they have things that work better for them in their favor, and they just have things that benefit them more. So I am going to go with the Denver Broncos to win this game here. And if this holds up and Miami and Indy both lose, then it really doesn't matter if the Steelers lose to the Eagles on Sunday. Those two things would happen already, and the Steelers would be in the playoffs. So, yeah, I'm going to take Denver to win this game here. Next, we got what very well could be a preview of Super Bowl 59, and it's easily my game of the week. And it should be everyone else's game of the week. The Buffalo Bills at 10-3 going up to Detroit to play the 12-1 Detroit Lions. Wow. What a game this is going to be right off the bat. I can tell you that right now. So the Bills, as I said at the beginning of this video, they are coming off of a 44-42 loss to the Los Angeles Rams, but Josh Allen played phenomenal in that game for Buffalo. He made an NFL first in that game, where he became the first quarterback in the history of the NFL to have 3 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns in the same game. Buffalo came up short, but that just shows you that Josh Allen is absolutely an MVP candidate. In my opinion, he's right there with Saquon Barkley, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow for being MVP. He has to be right there. What a game Josh Allen had, but let down heavily by the defense. But Buffalo, man, they have just been playing so well this season, and I think that what I said about them in the offseason has just really aged horribly. And it just goes to show you Josh Allen doesn't need a guy like Stephon Diggs to be successful. This is probably Josh Allen's best season of his career. It really is. Buffalo's defense needs to get cleaned up a little bit as they do give up some pretty big plays, but overall, the Bills, they are going to be a tough team to beat in the playoffs this year. As for the Lions, 12-1. That's all I got to say. 12-1. If Dan Campbell doesn't get coach of the year this year, it's going to be a crime. You know, Detroit's won 11 straight games. 11 straight wins. Their only loss came in week 2 at home to Tampa Bay, and it was just a slight coaching mishap by Campbell that cost him the game. But ever since then, Detroit has done nothing but win. Imagine that. The Lions were one play away, basically, from being perfect. The Lions, just remember, back in 2008, this team went 0-16. And now we're talking about them being a play away and a coaching decision away from Campbell to being perfect at this point. They could easily be 13-0. What a season it's been for Detroit. Their offense, absolutely explosive, absolutely capable of overwhelming a team and putting up a lot of yards and points on the board. And that showed last Thursday night against Green Bay, where every time the Packers threw something at the Lions, Detroit came back and they just answered right away. And the Lions walked away with a 34-31 win over Green Bay, and they swept them. This Lions team, man, they are so resilient. They're a bunch of fighters. And that's why I say week in and week out, they're the best team in the NFL. It's just been an incredible season. Their defense has improved massively, but they are dealing with injuries in this game, which, if you're a Lions fan, that has to be a concerning point, seeing that they're going up against a very prolific offense in Buffalo. So I really don't know, though, if Detroit's injuries on defense are going to be catastrophic enough for this game, but it just kind of showed in that Bills-Rams game to where the way to beat the Bills is you just got to outslug them. And the Rams, apparently, they have an offense that can do something like that. And I forgot to mention this in my 49ers Rams segment. Puka Nacua had an incredible game. He had 12 catches for 162 yards. So right there, if Buffalo can't win the one-on-one matchups right there, and they allow Detroit's best target, who in this case is Amon-Ra St. Brown, to go off and have a big game, and Buffalo can't stop the run with Jahmyr Gibbs, then Buffalo, it's going to be a long night. It's going to be a long afternoon for him. So, yeah, this one was difficult to pick as well, because I really think it can go either way. But like I alluded to with my Cowboys-Panthers pick, I am very unsure of who to go with. I will not be upset if I get this game wrong, because this is a tough one to pick. But I'm going to lean with the home team. Give me Detroit. They've won 11 in a row. I think they can make it 12. Buffalo has a playoff spot wrapped up. And I think, right now they're just battling for seeding at this point. Not saying the Bills aren't going to be battling with a purpose, but I just think Detroit has the hotter hand coming in this game. And so much so that regardless of what happens, I want points for this game. So I am going to take the Lions to win this, and it's going to be my spread of the week. 32-30. Give me Detroit to beat the Bills, but I got Buffalo covering, as the Lions are a 2.5-point favorite. So technically that wouldn't mean the Lions would cover. but I am going to go with Detroit to win this game, but Buffalo slightly with the points. All right, folks, we got my matchup right here. The battle of the Keystone State, the Pittsburgh Steelers going to Philadelphia to play the 11-2 Philadelphia Eagles. This has the potential to be game of the week as well, and I think it's a close second. This is going to be a great game too, and I can't wait to get a load of it. Steelers and the Eagles in Philly. So we are 10-3, and we are coming off of a win over the Cleveland Browns in Pittsburgh once again. And the Steelers, as I said throughout the video so far, we do have a clinching scenario for this game. If we win, or if the Colts and Dolphins both lose, we are in the playoffs. The Philadelphia Eagles, I believe they have a clinching scenario as well if they hadn't already clinched a playoff berth, but they do have a scenario to clinch the NFC East for this game. They need to win, or they need Washington to lose. If one of those two things happens, then the Eagles are NFC East champions. So both these teams right here are playing for clinching purposes. We want that playoff spot. Philly wants the division title. So there you go right there. Our offense got 3 touchdowns, a good game, not great game for us, but a good enough game to win the game. And I can already tell you right now, not having George Pickens in this game is definitely going to hurt us. You know, say what you want about Pickens as a player, but as a person, but there's absolutely no denying that he is the engine of this offense, and him being doubtful for this game, although I am banking on him not playing in this game, is definitely going to hinder our offense. But then again, Russell Wilson did show that he really doesn't need George Pickens to be successful. But, you know, it's not like the Browns defense is as good as Philly's defense is right now. And it's also not like the Eagles are as turnover prone as Jameis Winston is. So right off the bat right there, I think the defense, and I'm going to talk more about this in my preview, I think if the Steelers just play a complete enough game and they play their best football in the fourth quarter like how Philly does, they chew up the clock, they're able to run the ball effectively, they're able to avoid stuff like 3rd and longs, and they have the healthy rotations in this game, then I think our chances of winning this game go up. You know, you got to be able to keep Jalen in the pocket. You can't let him escape. You can't let him be as elusive. And you, most importantly for this game, they just can't let Saquon Barkley beat him. Okay? I mean, I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts isn't important in this game, because he is. But the number one thing I'm focused on for this game is how the Steelers are going to be able to stop Saquon Barkley. Because like I said, Saquon, in my opinion, is MVP this year. Saquon Barkley has had a phenomenal year for the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's just looking more and more terrible that the Giants just let him go so easily. So that's my whole gist for this game right here. You got to be able to stop Saquon Barkley. You know, and Philly, I mean, their defense has just been so stingy, as they are, I believe, number 1 in total defense this season. You know, so if we stall on offense and we're not able to cash in on opportunities with that defense that Philly has, then it's going to be a long game. I mean, those are my keys to victory right there. You got to stop Barkley. You got to play a complete game. And you got to be able to, if it comes down to it, play your best football in the fourth quarter. You cannot make any mistakes against this team. So who do I have winning this game? Well, guys, I'm not going to sit down here and say we can't win this game because I definitely think we have a chance in this game to win it. I think we can at least keep it competitive with them. But if you know my channel and you know my videos in the past couple weeks, you would know that I've sat down here and I have said that this is without a doubt the hardest game on our schedule. And this is also the game that I am least confident in. Not just not just because the Steelers haven't won in Philly since 1965. That's just the cherry on top of it. But just the streak that Philly is on and the way that they've been playing, you know, it's hard to have confidence with the Steelers in this game. So, sorry guys, I'm going to take the Eagles to win it here. I think they wrap up the East, but hey, it won't be a total loss, as if my predictions hold up true, Denver and Houston both win, we would still clinch a playoff spot despite us losing this game. But as for this game, I'm sorry, guys. Until we win in Philly, I'm going to take the Eagles to beat us in Philly every time. I mean, I don't think it'll be as bad as 2022 and 2016. I don't think it'll be as bad as that. I think we can keep it competitive, but in the end, I just think Philly wins this one and they win a very close game. So, yeah, guys, sorry. I'm going to take the Eagles to win here. Next, we got the New England Patriots and the Arizona Cardinals going at it in Glendale, as the Pats are coming off their bye week. The week before, they dropped it in the last second to the Colts, while the Cardinals continue to be inconsistent as hell, as they dropped it to the Seahawks 30-18, and they're 6-7, and Arizona amazingly is still alive in the NFC West. I don't think they'll win it because them getting swept by the Seahawks definitely doesn't help them out. The Patriots, they are just a horrendous team. Drake May, I think he might have a bright future ahead of him, but I think the organization is just really setting him up for failure if they don't build around him. And Arizona, even though they are inconsistent, they do have potential with their offense, although I don't trust them defensively. But Arizona has done relatively well against weak teams this year. So, for that matter, I think I'm going to go with the Cardinals to win it here. Simply because the Patriots, every time I've picked them this season, they've lost. I don't know if I can pick them for a while, but I have picked Arizona a couple times, and the times that I've picked them, they've won. So I'm going to take the Cardinals to do it here, and I think that they just outmatch New England here. So give me Arizona. Another hard one to pick, in my opinion. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Los Angeles Chargers. This one is in Inglewood, as the Bucs are 7-6, and all of a sudden they lead the NFC South because Atlanta is handing them that division on a silver platter. And the Bucs, they have just been a very streaky team all season, and right now they're on a streak with themselves, a winning streak, and they are leading the NFC South. They've won 3 in a row. Meanwhile, the Chargers are coming off of a gut-wrenching loss to the Kansas City Chiefs by a final of 19-17, where the Chiefs, as I said in the beginning, they doinked the game-winning field goal in, and I think the Chargers are just feeling the effects of that loss right there. It's a bad time for LA to start slumping, and with them going up against a streaky team in Tampa Bay, it's going to be hard to pick because I don't trust Tampa's defense at all. And LA's offense is definitely capable of having a breakout game. But I don't know if Justin Herbert is going to be 100% good to go in this game because he did take a shot against Kansas City and he bruised up his leg a little bit, but he did go back into the game. But I don't know if he's 100%. So this one was, I was going back and forth on this one. And typically in situations like this, I do go with the home team. But something tells me to actually take Tampa Bay here. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to roll with the Bucs to win because, like I said, Tampa's been incredibly streaky this year. And right now they have momentum on a winning streak going into this game. And I think this game overall just screams Chargers gonna Charger, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, I like Tampa taking advantage of the fact that they want to keep Atlanta below them in the NFC South. So I'm going to take Tampa to win this one here. Sunday Night Football up in Seattle. Check your local listings as we got the Green Bay Packers and the Seattle Seahawks going at it. As the Packers are coming off of a tough loss to the Lions, as I said last Thursday night, 34-31. Nothing against the team. They played a great game, but Detroit, they're just the better team. And the Packers are 9-4. They are still in pretty good position to clinch a playoff spot. And they go up to Seattle to play the Seahawks, who are all of a sudden playing some really good football. As the Seahawks, I think, have won 4 straight games, and they're 8-5, currently leading the NFC West. So what a turnaround it's been for the Seahawks, man. They're playing some pretty solid football, and I think right now they're in control of their own destiny as far as winning that division goes. So there you go with Seattle right there. With this game personally, being able to contain Jordan Love is definitely a key factor for Seattle, as the Seahawks defense has been playing a lot better, and it's just something I say on repeat. It seems like with Seattle's defense is that which defense are we going to get from the Seahawks? Are we going to get Legion of Boom 2.0, or are we going to get a defense that doesn't even look like it belongs in the NFL? But Seattle has played much better defensively as the weeks have gone by. And another big factor here, the Seahawks really need to keep up whatever momentum they have on offense, because Kenneth Walker's calf injury is going to be detrimental to them if they can't run the ball efficiently. So that's my thing with the Seahawks right there. And I think Green Bay does play tough defensively than they have in recent years past this year. But overall, whenever I see these two go at it with each other, I see a pretty home-dominated series. The Seahawks haven't beaten the Packers in Lambeau since 95, while the Packers haven't beaten the Seahawks in Seattle since 2008. So it's a pretty home-dominated series between these two. Of course, when I always think of the 03 wild card between these two when Hasselbeck said, "We want the ball, we're going to score," and then he threw a pick six. So, and then, years later, the 2014 NFC Championship between the two. So these two do have some memorable moments with each other. And what's the common denominator with both those moments? The home team won the games. So, Green Bay, they do give up a lot of big plays on defense. And with Geno Smith and that offense that's definitely productive, that's my deciding point here. I'm going to go ahead and take the Seahawks to win this game. I like their momentum. I like the streak that they're on right now. Despite Green Bay having the rest factor, I do think the Seahawks come away and get this win here and improve to 9-5 and get that much closer to clinching the NFC West. So I am going to take the Seahawks to win this game here. And then concluding week 15, we got 2 Monday Night Football games. First up, we got the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings in Minneapolis. So yeah, it always seems like the Bears and Vikings get a Monday Night Football slot. So here we are once again. And to keep things short, I am going to take the Vikings to win this one here, as I just don't think the Bears have anything going for them right now. Caleb Williams is the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. That O-line they have is absolutely putrid. And with the way Brian Flores just continues to have stout defensive performance after stout defensive performance every single week for the Vikings, I just don't see it being much of a game. I think Minnesota wins this one pretty easily here, completes the sweep of the Bears, and Minnesota is certainly on a mission to shock in the world this year. So give me the Vikings to win this one. And then finally, we got Monday night game number 2 and Toilet Bowl number 4. Atlanta Falcons and the Las Vegas Raiders going at it in Vegas. As yes, this is a toilet bowl in my opinion. So what to say about this one right here? Well, the Falcons were in complete control of the NFC South not too long ago, and Atlanta has currently lost 4 straight, and they're 6-7 on the season. The main catalyst, Kirk Cousins. In the past couple weeks, Kirk Cousins has thrown no touchdown passes and 8 interceptions. And he now currently leads the league in interceptions. So, Kirk Cousins, the dude's washed up. I don't know what else to say. He's completely washed up. And I think Atlanta needs to bench him from this game and give Michael Penix a chance. Atlanta, their season is getting away from them week after week. And their defense has certainly fallen off the ranks as well. And now they're going up against Vegas, who is god-awful as well. But Vegas, if they can get a quarterback for Brock Bowers, who's a stud, I certainly think Vegas can be a little bit more competitive. You know? And their defense, Vegas's defense is awful as well. So if Atlanta does go with Kirk Cousins in this game, I definitely think he needs to have a get it right game, and this would be the game to do it. So this one, I was heavily leaning towards to be my upset because Atlanta is just in free fall mode, but I can't do it. I'm going to take the Falcons. This might be the last time that I pick Atlanta to win a game, to be honest with you. I am really losing confidence with Atlanta. But I do think they win on Monday night. They snap their losing streak, and they get back on the right track for at least another week. So I'm going to take the Falcons to win this game. And that'll do it. Those are my Week 15 picks. Let's have another solid week, and let's keep the train rolling, man. I am Mac, checking on out for the day. Have a good one, everybody.